This episode brought to you by Jay Racenstein, building and window cleaning supplies since 1909. Welcome to AWC TV. This week, we're going to have a conversation with IWCA Safety Director Stefan Bright. Many of our Safety in Our Biz articles in the magazine are written by Stefan through the IWCA, and we're certainly very happy to have him on board. He's a very busy person. Stefan, thank you for being on AWC TV, and welcome aboard.
Yeah, I'm glad to be on board. I'm doing well. Thanks, Mike. And you are lucky to have me. I am very busy this time of year, but glad to help out. You know me, I like to press whatever I can when it comes to safety whenever I can. So thanks.
Yeah, Stefan, we've known each other for a lot of years, and one of the things that I really appreciate about you is your desire to push safety, to make the industry better. So once again, I'm just really happy to have you on today.
Yeah, no problem. I grew up cleaning windows. I did it for almost 20 years, and again, I'm glad to help out.
Okay, good. So in our upcoming magazine, our July-August edition of Safety in My Biz, you wrote and touched on an article about this new standard and things like that. And one of the things I really appreciated about the way that it was written was we get kind of zoned in on the fall protection aspect of 1910, OSHA 1910. And but there's really more things to it than that. We know that there's electrocution, falling object hazards, things like this. So really, it comes down to it's really more than just about fall protection, isn't it?
Yeah, we've waited 20 some years for the new regulations or the revised regulations to come out, and they talk about fall protection everywhere, and it changes elevation of 4 feet or more, which affects any kind of window cleaner, and portable ladders and rope descent systems. But they don't pull it all together. They mention a work plan and a job hazard analysis, but they don't go into detail, and it's not regulated in there. But it's probably the most important thing because you won't see the hazards until you go to the building or house first and look for them. And once you find them, then you can address them before you or your team show up. So it's pretty important. You can't comply with these new regulations unless you know where the hazards are. So that was the purpose of the article, to bring that back out into the forefront.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. That term JHA, that there even seems to be some confusion about that. Of course, that stands for Job Hazard Analysis, as you mentioned. But who's really responsible for that? When does that happen?
Well, it should be, in my opinion, from a window cleaning contractor standpoint, it should be the person who actually goes to the building or house or whatever the structure may be, to price the window cleaning services, because they're the first eyes and feet on the job, and they need to be looking for the hazards that are there that may be confronted, because they may not be the person cleaning the windows. They may just be, the estimator, but they're probably one and the same, or could be part of the team that goes back to clean the windows. But it needs to be done, before you actually send to the work.
Yeah, I've said many times that the safety aspect of these jobs starts in the sales process. The guy that's going out there to estimate the job, he's the one that's going to identify these hazards and see them first. So that's really where this job hazard analysis needs to take place.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, again, with these new OSHA regulations, everything we do now is regulated by the Safety and Health Administration. So it's time to get serious and come up with a plan and find your hazards before you are confronted with them.
Right. So the JHA happens. Now there's another term also that gets used quite a bit, and that is a written safety plan. So what is the difference of those two, or how are the two of them utilized together?
Well, it's a step or tiered process. The job hazard analysis is the first step. Someone has to go to the site and look for the 7 or 8 typical hazards that we always see: falling, the environment, people, electricity, overhead obstacles, ground obstacles, rigging points, and things like that. And then look for other ones, and put them all down on a list. And then once they have the list and and maybe a drawing or a sketch of the building or rooftop where all these hazards are. Take that back to your office and obviously take pictures of the site, and put it together in a plan, which is part two. You take part one and analyze everything and figure out how you're going to address the items I just mentioned, falling and electrocution or electrical supplies and overhead obstacles and whatnot, and then how you're going to address them or your teams are. That becomes your plan, and obviously using pictures helps as well.
Right. So that JHA is really to be able to identify the different hazards that may exist on the job site, and then a written safety plan is how an employer or whoever communicates those hazards to the employees out on the job site.
Right, and it's the means to overcome or avoid the hazards.
Right.
It's identification first, right, and then mitigation second.
Okay, so when it comes to that written safety plan, how detailed should that have to be? We mentioned that there's many things besides just fall hazards that exist on that job site. Could be electrocution, could be even the chems that window cleaners are using that may require PPE. So how extensive, when they're doing that written safety plan, how extensive does it need to be?
Yeah, it needs to be pretty extensive. A lot of it's going to be template stuff. You can come up with language that does address, like you said, electrocution or electricity and working around people. And, if you spill water, it should be cleaned up right away. Barricading and danger signs, that's all pretty template standard window cleaning contractor stuff. So once you have those in the plan, the rest is going to be site specific, but it should be pretty comprehensive because you want to protect yourself, you want to protect your investment, which is your company, and you certainly want to protect your employees.
Right. So there's going to be a lot of changes. This new regulation is going to cause people, they're going to have to rise to the occasion. It's going to even change our industry somewhat. Now, I know you're the safety director for the IWCA, and that I have a deep appreciation for. I'm a big advocate of the IWCA. I've been certified myself through the years through the IWCA. But tell me, so far as that association's concerned, what are they doing right now to prepare window cleaners for the changes that they're going to face with this new regulation?
Well, it's a work in progress, and it's been a work in progress since I started 25 years ago. The whole spirit of the IWCA is to come together and forget that we're competitors, but remember that we're all in a business that we're confronted with these hazards on a regular basis. So safety has been 50% or more of what the IWCA has been focused on for a long time and continues to focus on. And in this day and age, with virtual reality and the internet and applications on your telephone or your smartphone, it makes it easier and easier to get the idea and the concepts, the assistance out there to folks that need it. And that's where the IWCA is at now. We're putting a lot of stuff online. They've put together Campus IWCA, which is, their learning tool that anybody can, if you're a member or non-member, log in, of course, pay a fee, but then enroll in some course study classes online, take them at your own leisure, and, stay on top of things. It's a good time to be a member of the IWCA because a lot of the work we've done over the last 2 decades is becoming virtual and online, and it's only going to improve as time goes on. We are getting ready to release a field safety guide for window cleaners, and that should be coming out in the next 2 weeks or so.
Well, that's awesome. The world that we live in, it has changed, and it's whether all window cleaners across the world or businesses and things like that, it's really a virtual place. And so the IWCA taking this training that they've done and putting it into a virtual place where I can go get it is really neat. I know as a business owner, a window cleaning company owner at one point in time, going through the IWCA training process, it could be a little bit tedious, if you will. You could have a test proctored, but for the most part, you had to show up at an event. That means bringing guys. That means added cost and expense to a convention. But with this new IWCA campus, wow, as a business owner, I can start training a guy day one by utilizing these things online.
Yeah, it's always been a mobile occupation, from residential to commercial high rise. You're going from job to job, and that makes it difficult to sit down and or leave and attend a convention or a seminar, when you're always going from place to place. But by no means does it mean you should be looking at your smartphone while you're driving. Let's all remember that. Because it's, even though we're using that as a tool to spread the word, be stationary and, be focused. But yeah, it's a good time to be a member.
Well, that's great stuff. We'll continue, of course, to support the IWCA. We really appreciate the support that IWCA gives American Window Cleaning Magazine, and we'll do everything we can to continue to help the IWCA get this message of safety out to the window cleaning community. I really appreciate you taking the time to be on today. I know you have a very busy schedule, but as the IWCA Safety Director and also the jobs that you have work secularly. And so thank you so much for being on board with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure, Mike. Anytime, glad to help. And if you want to do it again down the road, feel free to give me a call.
If you want to take a look more in depth at Safety in Our Biz, the July-August issue will have Stefan's article in it. It'll also have some sample copies of a written safety plan. And so check it out. These new regulations that affect us all are very important and important for us to comply to. This is Mike with AWC TV signing off. Stay tuned for our next episode of AWC TV by following us on YouTube, Facebook, or our website, awcmag.com.